Imagine walking into a hospital, fully healthy, just looking to make a quick $2,000 to pay for a summer vacation. All you have to do is take a single microscopic dose of a drug that had already been proven perfectly safe in animal testing. But within an hour and a half, you are screaming in agony as your blood vessels tear open, leaking plasma directly into your tissues and drowning your lungs from the inside out. This isn't a sci-fi horror movie. This is the true story of the infamous Elephant Man trial. In 2006, a pharmaceutical company tested a revolutionary new drug on healthy human volunteers. To be absolutely certain it was safe, they administered a microdose, exactly 500 times smaller than the dose proven perfectly harmless in monkeys. But 90 minutes later, the volunteers' heads swelled to twice their normal size, turning a dark, bruised purple. Their immune systems went thermonuclear. Their organs began to melt. This is the TGN-1412 clinical trial. It is the morning of March 13th, 2006, at an independent clinical trials unit inside Northwick Park Hospital in London. 8 healthy young men are sitting in a ward, joking, playing pool, and waiting to get paid. Among them is 20-year-old Ryan Wilson, a trainee plumber who just wants to make £2,000 to fund an upcoming vacation. They are there to test TGN-1412. It's an experimental biologic drug, a laboratory-engineered monoclonal antibody designed to fight leukemia and autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis. In animal trials, it worked beautifully. Monkeys were given massive doses with 0 side effects. Today, it's going into humans for the very first time. 6 of the men will get the real drug. 2 will get a harmless placebo. At 8 a.m., the first volunteer is hooked up to an IV. Over just a few minutes, the clear liquid is pumped into his vein. 10 minutes later, the next man gets his dose. Ryan is one of the 6 receiving the active drug. For the first hour, everything is perfectly normal. Then, at the 90-minute mark, the ward descends into pure chaos. The first volunteer complains of a blinding, excruciating headache. Seconds later, another man tears off his shirt, screaming that his body is burning from the inside out. One volunteer drops to the floor in agony, clutching his lower back as shooting pains rip through his spine. Another starts violently vomiting and hyperventilating, begging the doctors for help. Then, the physical transformations begin. The men's faces and heads start to rapidly balloon. Fluid leaks from their blood vessels, pooling under their skin. One volunteer's partner later described him as looking like the Elephant Man, his head puffed up to a grotesque size, his skin a weird bruised purple and yellow color. Hospital consultants are emergency paged from their homes, but they are completely baffled. The men are slipping in and out of comas. Their blood pressure is plummeting. Their lungs are filling with fluid. Within hours, their kidneys and livers begin failing. Their organs are shutting down, and no one knows how to stop it. To understand what was happening to Ryan and the others, we have to look at what TGN-1412 actually is.
TGN-1412 is known as a CD28 superagonist. It was designed to target and bind to the CD28 receptor on the surface of T cells. T cells are the elite SWAT team of your immune system. Normally, to activate a T cell, your body requires 2 keys to be turned at exactly the same time. It's like launching a nuclear submarine. You need an antigen presentation, key 1, and a co-stimulatory signal, key 2, to launch the weapons. This dual lock system prevents your immune system from accidentally destroying your own body. But TGN-1412 was a skeleton key. It bypassed the 2-key system completely. As soon as the drug entered the men's bloodstreams, it forcefully unlocked and activated every single T cell it touched, all at once, without any actual viral infection present. The result is a catastrophic medical emergency, known as a cytokine storm.
Cytokines are the chemical fire alarms of the body. Normally, a cell pulls the alarm, white blood cells arrive, kill the virus, and the alarm shuts off. But TGN-1412 pulled every single fire alarm in every single room of a 50-story skyscraper simultaneously. The men's immune systems went completely thermonuclear. With billions of immune cells screaming that the body was under massive attack, they released lethal amounts of inflammatory proteins like TNF-alpha and interferon gamma. This hyperinflammation caused their blood vessels to dilate and become highly porous. Imagine your veins suddenly turning into soaker hoses. Blood plasma rapidly leaked out into the surrounding tissues, which is exactly why their heads and necks swelled to twice their normal size. Because all the fluid was leaking out of their veins, their blood pressure crashed to fatal levels. Without enough blood pressure to pump oxygen, their major organs began suffocating. As the body panicked, it formed thousands of microscopic blood clots, further choking off the kidneys, liver, and extremities. The lungs filled with the leaking plasma, essentially drowning the men from the inside out. This is the multi-organ failure the doctors were watching unfold in real time. There is no antidote for TGN-1412. There are no alternative medicines or quick workarounds for a cytokine storm of this magnitude. The only option is pure, aggressive life support. The doctors had to chemically crash the men's immune systems before they destroyed themselves. They pumped the volunteers full of massive doses of corticosteroids, literally nuking the immune system to force the T cells to stand down. But the toxic cytokines were still heavily circulating in their blood. So doctors hooked the men up to blood filtration machines, constantly washing their plasma, while mechanical ventilators forced oxygen into their failing lungs. Miraculously, thanks to the sheer brute force of modern intensive care, all 6 men survived. But the cost was devastating. While most of the men were discharged after a month, Ryan Wilson lay in a coma for weeks. Because of the microscopic blood clots and severe lack of oxygen during the storm, his extremities had literally starved to death. His fingers and toes turned completely black from dry gangrene. Ryan had to have parts of 3 fingers and several of his toes amputated. And the nightmare wasn't totally over. Because their immune systems had been pushed past the breaking point, the men were warned they could face a lifetime of increased risks for aggressive cancers and autoimmune diseases. But a terrifying question remained. If the drug was perfectly safe in monkeys, why did it nearly kill 6 humans at a dose 500 times smaller?
The answer lies in a tiny, microscopic evolutionary difference. Even though macaque monkeys share incredibly similar DNA with humans, the CD28 receptor on their T cells is just slightly different. In the monkeys, the drug didn't bind tightly enough to trigger the catastrophic cascade. In humans, it was a perfect, lethal fit. Furthermore, the human trials infused the drug 15 times faster than the animal trials, shocking the human system before it could naturally react.
The Elephant Man trial fundamentally changed modern medicine. Today, global clinical trial regulations are vastly different. Doses are no longer calculated just by what doesn't harm an animal. They are calculated by the absolute minimum biological effect. And never again will a high-risk experimental biologic be injected into multiple people in the same hour. Today, human trials are strictly staggered, 1 patient at a time, with days in between. 6 young men walked into a hospital hoping to make a quick buck, and instead became the victims of one of the most violent immune reactions in recorded medical history. It stands as a chilling reminder. In the pursuit of miracle cures, sometimes the most dangerous thing in the room is your own body.